That's also kind of cool to be a part of in the fact that, like, when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of people to look up to like that, like on TV who were involved in the superhero world. And now we do. Yeah. You know, so that's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
This is like the goofiest cast I've ever been a part of.
Why are they always singing when the cameras stop rolling?
We're always singing or making jokes or just making fun of things or watching crazy YouTube videos. I mean, it's like we come here, we joke, we laugh. We obviously work.
Right.
But then we sort of...
there's that thing.
Yeah, we interrupt our jokes to shoot.
Okay, fair enough.
And then it's when they say cut, we go right back to the joke.
That sounds about like us here at ET Live, interrupting our jokes to shoot. Ladies and gentlemen, Mehcad Brooks from CW Supergirl is here with us today, live in studio.
Hi, Mehcad.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been it's a tough day, but I'm doing well.
Tough day?
Yeah, you know.
Anything in particular?
13 people dead in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
Right.
That's tough. That's tough anytime that happens. You know, we live in a country where we arm mentally ill people. We're the first country in history I think, to do that. You know, the problem is the problem is not being mentally ill. The problem is the fact that people have access to guns so easily.
Right.
That's the issue. We got to try to solve that.
Obviously, this is something you feel strongly about. I think the issue here in Thousand Oaks is even more complicated when we're talking about a veteran.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of programs that help veterans reintegrate back into society. I lost a friend who committed suicide after he was an Army Ranger in Iraq. And came back, and I got him a job as our military advisor on a show called My Generation, and he was a lifelong friend and just lost that battle to depression, you know, and fighting things that he had done himself while he was there. And there was really no programs for him. There was really no outreach. We send these people off to war,
right?
And then when they come home, we make them deal with that war internally, and we don't have any reintegration programs. And so we got to solve that. We got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do.
I want to ask you about the CW. I'm about to ask you about The Guardian, but before I do, I couldn't help but notice on your social media that you speak to a lot of these things about your political opinions and whatnot. And so
this day and age, you have to, brother.
So do you feel you feel a responsibility? You feel a responsibility with your platform to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't judge people who don't feel that responsibility. However, I think that you're either going to be an active member of society or you're a bystander. These days, we have a responsibility. Those of us that have been quiet for a long time, I think we have to question whether or not that's the right choice. Right? We're living in a country where the executive branch is for sale. Or for lease. Yeah. And that's going to be up to us if it's for sale or for lease, right? So this could continue if we don't participate. This can continue if our voices are not heard. And if the only people being loud are the ones full of hate and the ones full of division and fragmentation, what are we doing?
Right.
We have a responsibility.
Yeah.
My girl always says that we are the ancestors of the future.
Wow, girl, smart girl.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
And we have a great responsibility in that. We have an awesome responsibility and awesome power, and I think that we should really consider that.
Yeah.
I look at it too, like each generation has their own fight to fight.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And this is our fight, and we have to do our part.
Yeah.
Well, look, and here's the thing.
Glad to hear you say that.
The absolute truth is that silence benefits the oppressor.
Correct.
Every single time.
It just takes good people to do nothing for evil to win.
So switching gears a little bit, we were talking about getting active. The Guardian, your vigilante alter ego. What's the deal? Is he put to sleep permanently, or is he coming back?
Oh no, he'll be around. He's definitely gonna be back in action.
Definitely gonna be back in action.
100%. Yeah, we thought it was really important that we show everyday heroics within journalism, especially what's happening now, where journalists are being, incorrectly labeled as the enemy of the state. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They're the fourth estate. They are what has made our democracy have the checks and balances that they had. If Congress is not doing their job, journalists expose that. If the president is overstepping his authority, journalists expose that. We have created a very strong democracy based on that. So being a newsman on the show, I think is just as important as being a superhero in this day and age, and just showing people that pointing out the truth is necessary and heroic.
Is this one of those things that as you're getting scripts for the Supergirl, that this sort of stuff comes up in conversation daily there?
What kind of stuff, sorry?
Well, just like what you were talking about there about how we handle the press, how the government handles the press and whatnot, and then playing a news person, like you said, in the CW. Is that how do you guys take the stuff that's happening in the real world and bring it and have it influence your show?
I mean, our writers' room has their thumb on the pulse of America, I think, and we're ahead of our time a lot of times, and I like to think that. As actors, as a cast, this is the most woke cast I've been a part of. This is the most woke writers' room I've been a part of. I keep pointing because they're across the street.
right over there, yeah.
And they take things that are topical. They take headlines from the news, and we treat them in allegory on our show, mostly dealing with aliens or whatever have you. But I think if you're over 7 or 8 years old, you're going to get the message. Yeah. And hopefully some of his parents are listening too.
Right. So. Well, I think that's the reason why a lot of people gravitate towards the show, because you all do touch on real life topics that we see every day, including, Supergirl had introduced the first transgender superhero, which was huge, It was on
I mean, I guess it's huge.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is, but
it shouldn't be. But
it's just a person.
But it's a step forward.
I understand. I understand it's a big deal because we are operating from a low point of consciousness in our society.
Exactly.
I get that.
Exactly.
But yes, there should be a trans superhero. There should be 10.
But thanks to Supergirl, now that can be a reality.
There should be 10 black superheroes, and there should be 10. Like here's the thing. I like what we're doing across the street because we're sort of making amends for all the incongruency that happened before we had a voice, right? So if Jimmy Olsen was created in 2008, he might look like me, might look like you, you might be a superhero in the 1930s, but you can also be one now, right? But back when Jimmy Olsen was created, back when a lot of these heroes were created, it was very monochromatic existence. People only saw people who looked like themselves, right?
Very two-dimensional, not just on the page, but in the creation.
It was like, what shade of white are you?
Yeah, right.
Basically.
Yeah.
And so now I think we have a lot of diversity because the world is diverse, and we pull strength from that. We know that. So I hope this is not the only time this happens. I hope to see many more trans superheroes and black superheroes and openly gay superheroes and we have room. Latinx superheroes, whoever, it doesn't matter.
Well,
we're all people.
This is something we actually talked about just a couple weeks ago, that we have more LGBTQ plus people and actors playing those roles on television than ever before, largely on the CW network. And so a big plus for you guys. Jeremy Jordan, he played Wynn on the show, left the show. Is he coming back for any more episodes?
Is that something you can't
talk
about?
You can't? Are you giving me the?
I can't say anything.
Look, it's just us. Nobody's listening.
It was an earpiece. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Could you? Are you supposed to speak into it? What happened? I don't know.
No, we're right
just for us right here, and every Supergirl fan out there who wants to know.
Oh, apple pie. That's crazy.
Wow.
Funny.
Wow.
All right, well, I have to ask you, okay, so there's a Supergirl, the Flash and Arrow crossover coming soon. What role will you be? It is really good?
Yeah.
So what role are you going to be?
I signed the NDA.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we all did.
You can't show up on this show and be like, I signed an NDA.
We want the juice, Mehcad.
I'm in it. Okay. It's really good. It's kind of fun. It's really funny, too, in some ways.
Do you put on spandex and a helmet?
Apple pie.
Right.
Tight
Apple
lips.
pie. That's his
look, tight lips. Make sure you don't get sued.
Well, there's that.
Well, I'm pretty sure you won't have tight lips when it comes to this, because I know you're excited about your music.
I am excited about my music.
King Gypsy.
King Gypsy.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that name. So talk to us about May 20th.
That's the name of the album.
That's the name of the album.
Right? Yeah.
What is the story behind it?
Serendipitously, actually, I was driving here and I was late. I was a little late, and I took a wrong turn. And I ended up at the hospital right here, the parking lot right here across the street. And I was there at that hospital May 20th, 2009. And it's the last time I was there, and I passed away there. I had complications from a parasite that I got in Africa. It's called an amoebic antimicrobial parasite, which is a really advanced way of saying you got some shit in your water, right? So, and most people die within 6 months if they don't get treatment. I had it for 2.5 years, so I was like a medical anomaly. But I had these medical issues, and I didn't know why. I would go to the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, well, just take this, and something. Maybe it's this, whatever." And Westernized medicine, I came to find out, they just take stuff and throw it at the wall, see what works, and that didn't work. So I was hospitalized for off and on for 45 days, like probably 30 out of 45 days. And then my longest stint was like 10, 12 days. And in that last stint, I had complications from the parasite medication, plus the IV drip of drugs that was in my system, and shit went haywire, and my vitals crashed.
You flatlined.
Correct. And yeah, there's a book coming about it.
It needs to be a book.
Yeah, but the book is not about that, but that's in the book.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it changed everything for me. It changed my perspective of what was important in life. It changed. It flipped the relationship of my own humanity. Like I knew 100%. I had an experience that let me know that we are all souls having a human experience. And that all this fragmentation, all this fighting that we do, all these killing each other, all this homophobia or racism or gender bias and all this stuff we do is these are figments of our imagination. We're making this shit up. We're just making it up.
It's an illusion. We're
making it up to fight, to feel important, to carry on someone else's legacy of their mental illness that they put upon you and you inherited. And so it just made me just say, press reset and pause on everything. And sorry about the curse again. The stuff that I was upset about May 19th, it didn't matter. It's not going to matter at all. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think the last conscious thought you have is before the lights go out? What do you think?
Well, I'm sure it's right up there with like I wish I would have called my mom today, or talked to my dad.
I would say mine is Jesus or God. Yeah, I would, because if I know I'm about to die, I'm calling on what I believe in.
That happens, but it's not the last conscious thought.
What is it?
That comes. What you said and what you said both happen, but that comes before you've accepted.
I want to know.
Before you've accepted that you're going to a place where you normally gather your strength, right? And you realize for the first time in your life that there's a bottom. You're like, what do you mean it's a bottom? I got this. I can hold on and protect the most important thing that's ever happened to me, which is the gift of my own life. I can do that. Surely I can hold on to that. Nah. And there's this voice inside you that just sort of allows you to understand that everything's going to be fine. And it's your voice. It's very, very quiet. And so the last thought you have is, did I fulfill the agreement that I made with my body before I got here?
Mehcad, I felt like I understood the world when I woke up this morning.
Right.
Now I don't know so much.
You do.
Thank you.
No, thank you for being so real.
Much. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's what May 20th means, by the way. So real quick, the reason I did music was because at the end of my life, that was the only thing I regretted, not doing music.
Wow.
There it is.
There it is.
That's amazing.
So inspiring.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Mehcad Brooks.
Amazing.
CW Supergirl. Don't forget it airs every Sunday at 7 Central on the CW.
Support him because he's genius.